You know what you are? You're useless. Well, you're crying about fucking nothing to some dickhead therapist who probably does coke on the weekends. She saw her decapitated mother next to her after a fucking plane crash. Jungle fever bullshit. Because people say mean words to you on the fucking internet. You're a pussy. Therapy is not necessary. That bitch from Germany in the plane. Why do you need therapy? Because you're a pussy. Therapy is not necessary.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another absolutely wonderful video. Now, a little insight on this video. I've actually recorded a video on Andrew Tate 3 times now. This is the 3rd time. The other 2 I absolutely did not like, and I didn't know why. And I finally figured out the reason. It's because I didn't have a real reason to dislike this guy. However, now I do. So the other night, after I made the 2nd video, I was scrolling through TikTok, and this dude just comes up on TikTok like all the time. It's impossible to avoid him. And so I found a couple TikToks from him, and these were ones where he was discussing mental health. Now, a little insight on me. My mental health is, it can be ropey from time to time. However, I do a pretty good job of, I do a lot of self-care and things like that. I try and keep it in check as much as possible because even though I am a guy, I do believe, mental health is a huge issue. It's something that affects me. It's something that affects everybody, whether they show it or not. It's like, it's still there. It's still affecting you. And it's important to talk about it, to get it out, and to find ways that help you, whether that be therapy, whether that be self-improvement, whether that be, any coping mechanisms, just anything that works well for you and is, moving you in a positive direction without harming you or harming, anybody else. Now, Andrew Tate, on the other hand, has a very, very different philosophy from me. This guy does not believe in depression. Just to start this off, I couldn't get this TikTok into the video. However, he did make a whole one that I watched where he was going on and, blah, 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 and talking about how Robin Williams was only depressed because he saw a therapist for 12 years, which is quite possibly one of the most brain dead arguments I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Now, it is possible that the therapy wasn't necessarily helping him, or at least to the extent, which of course did lead him to take his own life. So, it is possible that there was something going wrong there. However, it's not like the therapy made him kill himself. That's like that is the dumbest connection you could ever make, literally anywhere. And so I know I'm getting pretty out there in this video because this actually genuinely really pissed me off. It's not the therapy that did that. That's not even possible because if he went to therapy in the first place, that was probably because he was already experiencing things like this. And if anything, that therapy kept him alive for 12 more years that he, maybe wouldn't have been alive because it kept him going in a way. And eventually it still overcame him and he still couldn't take it. And, that does happen to people sometimes. And it is a sad reality. But it does happen. However, it's most likely not the therapist's fault unless that therapist was just an absolutely awful therapist, that needs every single certification that they have taken away from them. But I really don't think that was the case. Now back to me and why I do feel so strongly on this. I know I kind of touched on my mental health a little bit and stuff like that and why I think it's so important, but this is also a field that I am looking into pursuing. It's something I want to do. I do want to go into the field of psychology and help people. That is kind of that's what I've found out that I want to do. I mean, obviously YouTube as well, but, I like to have something, a little bigger. Also, YouTube, like I've said many times, is still just my hobby at the end of the day. If it ever does end up paying out for me or anything like that, then that's cool, but it's not what I want to do with my life. And this also applies to just generally people I know. There's people in my family who are therapists that deal with mental health, psychology, stuff like that. So when I see people, saying stuff like this, especially Andrew Tate, somebody that I already kind of had, an idea of I don't like for a specific set of reasons, this one just really ticked me off and, sent me over the deep end. Now, Of course, after that, there were more TikToks I found, and these I will include in the video, and these are what we're really talking about today. Now, this first one is quite possibly the most harmful thing to anybody who is going through anything serious and, are like at the end of their rope and stuff. This is probably the worst thing I've ever seen. So I'll go ahead and play the video just so you guys can see for yourself, and then I will go ahead and discuss it.
If you're the kind of person who feels like they need therapy, you need someone to talk to make me feel better, do you know what you are? You're useless. Because in the harshest realities of this cold world, there are people in Syria whose entire families have been blown to fuck with a bomb from the sky, who are still getting up every day, making fucking bread and selling it on the streets so they have enough money to buy a new pair of sandals sometime next year. While you're crying about fucking nothing with your first world bullshit to some dickhead therapist who probably does coke on the weekends.
So, looking at this, not good. Really not good. So pretty much he goes ahead and says, if you need therapy, you are useless. I mean, that is just the dumbest, like that's the worst thing you could ever say to anybody, because chances are the people who do need therapy already feel as if they are useless. And that's, terrible. Nobody should feel like that. There's always somebody out there. If you're watching this video and you feel that way, I guarantee you there is somebody out there who cares about you, whether that be a family member, a friend, a significant other. I mean, dude, if you're watching my video, like, I care about you, honestly. Like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If you're watching my video and you're supporting me, I mean, I care about you, and I would be, absolutely mortified to hear if anything happened to anybody in my audience, especially it be something like that. That would just be awful, and I do truly care about you guys. So yeah, just before I ramble on too long about that kind of stuff, if you do ever need to reach out to me, please do reach out to me on Twitter, on Instagram, anything like that. I will talk to you. I'm here. I'll DM you. I promise. Like, I honestly promise. I'm not like Andrew Tate, but so this guy goes ahead and says, if you need therapy, you're useless. Stupid thing, absolutely dumb thing. Do not listen to that. I don't care who you are. That's the dumbest statement you could ever make, ever. Absolutely awful statement. And then he goes ahead and says, oh, well, there's people in Saudi Arabia who this happens to them, and this happens to them, and this happens to them. And guess what? They don't need therapy. That is not at all the case. Not at all the case. Like, way misinformed. All of those people out there in those countries that do have to do the stuff that he said, and do live the lifestyle that he talked about, that's not good. It's really straining on mental health for them as well. They just, are at the position in the world and, where they don't really have access to that stuff. That stuff isn't easily accessible, if accessible at all. And nor do they really know, I'm feeling a certain way, I should get some help. Instead, they just end up going down worse and worse routes. You hear bad stuff happening to these people every day, including suicide. I mean, there's literally people out there who, are suicide bombing and stuff. And now I do understand that that is for religious purposes, at least, religious beliefs or whatever. I definitely do not support that at all. Nor am I saying that there's a direct connection there. However, there's crazy stuff like that going on, and these people see that almost all the time, or are subjected to it, are forced into it, are doing it, whatever it is. And that's not good. There's a huge mental health issue with that, and these people do need therapy. It could probably help them an insane amount. However, it just isn't accessible to these people. Now, there is another video, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that one as well. Let's go ahead and play that one.
And literally they ask her, well, didn't you go to therapy? She saw her decapitated mother next to her after a fucking plane crash. And her reply was, no, in those days we didn't do therapy. She just carried on with life. Now you're telling me that she can carry on with life and get on with things after seeing her decapitated mother after fucking nearly dying from some jungle fever bullshit. But you need therapy because people say mean words to you on the fucking internet. You're a pussy. The thing with all this new age shit is that some things should be universal across the human condition. If therapy was so necessary, it would have been necessary forever. The fact that it wasn't necessary before and is now necessary means it's new think, new age, and you've been conditioned to believe that you need it. People survived without it for a very, very long time. Therapy is not necessary. That bitch from Germany in the plane has been through more shit than you will ever go through, more shit than I've ever been through. And she didn't need fucking therapy, so why do you need therapy? Because you're a pussy.
So now this one, he basically does the same thing. I mean, his take is pretty much unchanged across these three instances that we're talking about. It's basically, if you need therapy, you suck, you're useless, you're a pussy, you're nothing, you know, you're an idiot, therapy's gonna kill you, yada, yada, yada. Like, that's basically his take all the time. And it's an awful take, absolutely awful take. I mean, terrible. It's destructive. It doesn't help people, especially people on the internet, and especially people who could look up to him. There's people who could look up to him and are depressed, do have anxiety, are suicidal, yada, yada, yada. And literally this dude saying that, they could avoid the help that they need, and that could eventually end up really bad for them. That's terrible. This is why so many normal YouTubers or normal content creators who understand that there are people there that are fans of them, that look up to them, that hear and listen and accept what these people say. That's why majority of them say, hey, you know, I love it when people email me and they're like, you know, you helped save my life. Or, you know, I got an email and I helped somebody out. Or, you know, DM me, like I just said, you know, DM me, talk to me if you feel like that, you know, trust me, like I will be somebody there for you. Like, trust me, reach out. If I see it, I will respond. I guarantee. Like, if I don't, I probably didn't see it. It does not mean that I don't care about you or anything like that. You know, that is the appropriate, you know, response to these, and what creators should be doing, unlike Andrew Tate, who literally with these things are just leading people down, you know, a bad road. So obviously with that last clip we took a look at, though, you know, the girl from Germany being in the plane crash, her decapitated mother, yada, 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 she didn't need therapy, whatever. This happened a long time ago, and they didn't do therapy back then, and they didn't believe in it, and they didn't care about it. And like, that's why all of these instances where he says, oh, well, these people didn't need therapy, it's literally just because it wasn't accessible to them, or they didn't understand how to cope with what they are feeling. Also, when you're in a traumatic incident like that, you tend to just lock it away anyway. You know, it's not like a continual depression or something, or a major, you know, mental disorder or anything like that. It's a traumatic event that typically most people end up just locking away anyway and trying to, you know, forget about it. And your mind actually really does just forget these traumatic incidents that happen to you in order to try and keep you, you know, moving forward and healthy. So there's just a good chance that this girl got really lucky with that. Or she just does still need therapy, but you know, back when she was born and how she was raised, that's not something that you do. It's a really dumb thing, and it's a really dumb thing to come out and say, oh, if you need this, if you feel like you need this, because people are saying mean things to you on the internet. Now, I know I'm a commentary YouTuber. I'm literally the guy who says mean things about everybody on the internet. I do understand that, and I do understand that it does sound a little hypocritical, you know, where I'm coming from saying stuff like that, especially with a lot of my, you know, older takes on like, oh, cyberbullying doesn't exist, blah, 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 blah. You know, to an extent, I do think you can get away from it still. I do think you can take a lot of steps to block those people out, because they're random people on the internet. They really do not matter. But however, you know, with me maturing and stuff, I'm not Andrew Tate, and I'm not going to say, oh, well, it's just the mean people saying things on the internet. No, there is stuff that does hurt. I'm going to be honest. Even me, I see comments, I see replies, you know, stuff like that occasionally. And I'm like, wow, You know, I mean, that sucks to see. Like, that sucks. I mean, even when people are out there like, oh, this video is the worst video I've ever watched, or oh, you sound dumb, or like, you know, a lot of my videos, I try my best, and I try and put, you know, as much time as I can into them. And so, you know, just to see stuff like that, it's like, damn, that sucks. Now, I'm not saying that I'm necessarily going to therapy for that or anything. But, you know, if you are in that position and you do feel like that is right for you, go do it. You know, do not listen to Andrew Tate. This guy is genuinely an idiot. And now I have the full right, I believe, to say that because, you know, after finding this, that truly crossed a line with me. That touched something, you know, deep within me. And I did not like that one bit. And, you know, truly dumb things. So, you know, really stupid thing to say. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video somehow. It was a more serious one, but, you know, I do hope that you guys took something positive from it. And, you know, it's a weird video. Like I said, I've tried to make it 3 times, and this is the final one. And probably the product that I'm going to stick with. So, yeah, you know, I hope you guys did like it. Subscribe, as always. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to say that one more time. You know, I really do appreciate each and every single one of you that take the time to watch my videos, especially all the way through, because it really does mean the world to me. But, yes, thank you guys again so much. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.